How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and I am underneath my Lamborghini Aventador.
Because I bought the worst one ever. And even though my car had no doors, bumpers, or bodywork at all, some hidden frame damage turned my cheap dream car into a nightmare.
There are a few shims.
Finding some more.
Oh my god!
Don't worry, guys.
Oh my goodness!
And that means we'll have to take every nut and bolt off this modern supercar to even have a chance of restoring it to its $500,000 former glory. But first things first, we have to see if the $80,000 V12 engine is worth saving.
So one thing I want to do on this car is start it and see if I can hear something that's going on, because if there's something wrong with this engine, we should hear maybe a ticking, maybe something not running right, not running as evenly as it should for a V12 like this. So fingers crossed. We got a new battery in there, we got a battery charger on there, and press the brake and hold the start. Running a little lumpy. I don't know if you guys can hear that. See, a V12 should be really, really, really smooth. Now, we did just start it. Oil pressure is good. Come with me. Maybe you guys can hear it better. So if you come down here, I can hear that there's a ticking. So what that tells me is that there's probably something going on in the cylinder head, or worse, the bottom end. Also, I didn't like that. That was not good. When it was like, that's not what an engine's supposed to do. So here's a quick crash course on how internal combustion works. This thing right here is basically an air pump. Air goes in and air goes out, but in the middle, there's this thing called combustion, and this all happens very, very quickly in a 4-stroke process. And the strokes are suck, squeeze, bang, and blow. And no, I'm not kidding. That is literally how it is. So you have suck, you have the air going into the engine, you have squeeze, that's the compression, you have bang, that's the power stroke, and blow, which is going out of the exhaust. And that happens on this engine when you're really going for it 8,500 times a minute. This, I think, might be missing one of those key strokes, and I think it's probably the compression stroke. So what we're gonna do is check that with a compression tester, but before that, I'm gonna take out the spark plugs. I've already taken out these coil packs, and I'm gonna go inside the cylinder, and I have my handy dandy endoscope or boroscope, I don't actually know what you call it here, and I'm gonna look inside the cylinder to see if there's any damage, and then we're gonna rotate the engine to see if we have any compression on these cylinders. And I'm not really a betting man, but I'm willing to bet that we're gonna find something in these three.
Although the Aventador is a pretty complicated car, removing the V12's ignition system is super easy, barely an inconvenience. I just popped off the connectors, pulled out the coil pack, and then used a 14mm spark plug socket and some extensions to pull the plugs, so I can take a better look at what lay underneath.
All right, down the rabbit hole we go, and I have to kind of aim this thing like upside down and backwards. Oh, look at that. So not only is there oil on the top of the cylinder, there's a bunch of crud on it, but you can see right there, that looks like damage from a valve hitting it. And what's cool about our little boroscope here is that we can see on the side, so let's take a look. So this is now the top of the cylinder head, well actually the top of the combustion chamber. You can see that's one valve that's closed right there, and this is an open valve. So you can see how open that is right there. And if we turn this around even more, look at that. Yeah, it's a little cattywampus. Look at this. Look how open that is, and then look how closed that one is. Now I'm not sure which one of these is bent, but I think it's this one. It's just like it's good news and bad news. Good news, I know what the problem is. Bad news, engine has to come out, cylinder head has to come off, and then we have to rebuild the cylinder head, and then do a valve job, and then hopefully there's no other issues with this engine, because who knows what's been going on. I don't need to do a compression test, because I know that there's gonna be zero compression. So now, all I have to do is take out an engine. So you know that sinking feeling that you get when your car isn't making the right noises, sort of like this one was? I bet you do everything to make it go away. You work on it yourself, you take it to a shop, anything, because the car is a very important part of your life. Well, what if I told you the same applies to your mental health? Now, if you guys need help with your mental health, one thing I would recommend is therapy. And today's sponsor, BetterHelp, is a game changer when it comes to getting the therapy you need. So you don't need to have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety to benefit from therapy. You can think of therapy as a tool for personal growth. It can help you better understand yourself, develop healthier habits, and learn effective ways to cope and solve problems. And take it from me, it can lead to improved mental and emotional well-being. BetterHelp is on a mission to make starting therapy easier. Now, BetterHelp is a platform where therapists and their clients can communicate effectively and get the most out of therapy. They make starting therapy easy. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire and you'll match with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. And with over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust, and that's why I've used them. So if you're struggling and you think you can benefit from a therapy session, go to the link in my video description or go to betterhelp.com/Tavarish and get 10% off your first month of therapy. It is super, super worth it. I've done it, you guys should do it. Go check it out right now. So this is a pretty cool thing. Usually in all of the hardware here, they can be taken off with a tool that is this. This is a T30 Torx bit. And the Torx just means that it has these little splines. There's 6 splines. This other one, if you look at this right here, this has 12 splines in it. And it's actually called a triple square bit. And it just means that there's 3 squares and then they're just sort of 3 squares in there. So, and you take that off with the tool that I just was looking for, and then Jack just had right there.
No, that was a Torx.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Here's how it works. So, see, triple square bit works, and then a Torx probably also works if you're doing things wrong like Jack, you know?
The exhaust was the first part to come off the car, and although I was a fan of the sound of the factory system, I demonstrated how it could be better.
The stock exhaust, it sounds like kind of like that.
I mean, besides the engine being bad, it sounded good.
Besides the engine being bad. It's a V10 out of 12, but what I want it to sound is...
Sorry.
Like Mario.
And after we removed some more hidden bolts in the diffuser and rear frame, we raised the car to show you, the viewer, how to do the right thing the wrong way.
So right here is what's known as a V-band for the exhaust. Instead of there being like a little flange that has bolts in it at, I guess, every corner, there's just a V-band that just attaches the entire exhaust as one, and it's like a hose clamp except for an exhaust. Now, this is put on by, well, what's called an e-Torx bit, which is an inverted Torx. A hack way to get this off, instead of using the right tool, is you can actually just get a regular wrench that's a smaller size. So an e-Torx, this would be probably like an E8. So if we use, I don't know, like a 7mm or something like that, and then we can put a regular socket on it, and then look at that. Now it turns.
It's like a hack. You know, like it's a good hack.
Just like this was.
No, that's hack. That's like hack.
So we should explain to people what is going on here, because I think we sort of glossed over it a little bit. This is the frame of the car. This is the aluminum frame, and that goes onto the carbon fiber tub. So the tub is where you sit, and the frame is where the engine sits. And the frame is right now twisted because it was in a big accident. And when it was sideswiped, all this went into the frame, bent it, and whoever tried to well, fix this, they did a really, really poor job, because this is not something you can typically section. Like, you can't cut this out and then weld more material on. It doesn't have the structural rigidity anymore. And also, this looks like they just booger welded everything. In order to fix this, we would need to, I mean, if you wanted to fix it properly, even if you could, because sometimes you can't fix these things, it just has to be replaced.
Look at this. Just run your hand over this. You see how it's like kind of got that shape where it's like, this has all been squished.
Yeah.
There's a dip right here. You can even feel like a little dip right there. So all that has been compressed in between here. So to get this square, like meaning like, you know, you measure from that side to that side, it would be the exact same measurement. This would have to be like new. There's no way you're getting that to be square again. I mean, you can, but you're going to have a gap in between stuff, and then it's just not going to be where it's supposed to be.
Our only option to do this right, if we want to indeed build it better, we have to get a brand new one, which if you guys were watching my second channel video, we went over how much all this stuff costs. Brand new one from Lamborghini is $22,000. And we have to literally remove every single bolt from the back of the car. And I swore that I would never do this again. I'm like, oh, well, we just need to have some repairs and maybe some body work and maybe the engine needs to come out. And now it's like every bolt needs to come off this car again. Now, a reason why you cannot do any sort of beating out of material when it's aluminum or aluminium if you're in the UK. This is what is called work hardened. When you beat something out, it changes the molecular structure of the metal.
You're like doubling the strength of the metal because not only are you hammering it, you're weakening it by hammering it, but you're welding it back up again, which is just heating it up and making it more brittle. So metal has some kind of like little bits of movement to it, but when you flex the suspension right there, it's gonna go and crack.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what happened.
Or get hit and go. Just explode.
Yeah, or it just sends the energy somewhere else. So take a look at the rear steering system of the Aventador S. It's really quite cool. So it's just a little motor, like a little servo, that goes on what looks like a tie rod, and that moves this in and out. And I don't know how many degrees it goes, it may be like 3 or something, but it definitely helps out with this really large car with turning radius and also high-speed maneuvering. No idea if this works, probably broken. Probably very expensive, but we just have to take off these very oily connectors. And these are electrical connectors, so oh my god, I don't know why they're so oily. But what's good is that where there's oil, there isn't rust. This is the Audi part of Lamborghini. So Audi bought Lamborghini in the late 90s, and well, the Aventador was their first sort of clean sheet of paper design. So Audi did all the mechanicals and all that stuff, and then Lamborghini did the pretty bits. But because of that, this thing is put together like an Audi, which means that you have brackets and clips and bolts that make no sense while taking them off. So in order to take one bolt off, which is the V-band for the exhaust, so we can get the exhaust off, I need to now fiddle with this little heat shield that is connected in 5 different spots. They really didn't want this heat shield coming off, did they? Yeah, we definitely needed this. I bet you this is $1,000 somewhere.
Probably. It's Audi part, so.
Yeah,
that's how they total your car for you.
If you break this bad boy, that's it. So now we can take off our V-band.
The V-band connections on both sides were removed with some necessary persuasion, and the car came down so we can remove the surprisingly heavy stock muffler system. With the exhaust off, I drained out some remaining fluids before we focused all of our efforts into removing the center lock wheels.
How many people does it take to take off the Lamborghini wheel?
Apparently 3.
It's adjustable. Ready?
Good.
There we go. Welcome to the gun show!
I got you for 3 minutes of playtime. You're going nowhere. Bonesaw is ready.
Now, while that looked easy, the center lock nut is torqued to 450 foot-pounds, which, fun fact, is about 4 times what a Honda Civic's engine produces. In order to overcome this, you can either get the $5,000 calibrated electric impact gun the dealer uses, or you can be like us and use a 3/4 inch breaker bar with a jack handle as an extension and an $80 socket I got on eBay. And with the rear wheels off, we could see a bit more into the previous owner's unique car modifications.
Jack, what'd you find?
The IKEA bracket here, it's been modified to fit perfectly fine.
So you're saying that this bracket right here, the rusty bracket, is not OEM?
That looks like something that came off the bunk bed that I just built for my kid.
Looks like a bed frame.
Doesn't it?
Yep.
So this is what it looks like on this side, and on this side, yeah, I'm guessing it's supposed to be something like this, like a aluminum bracket, not a steel bracket. But who knows? That could be OEM Lamborghini. You sure?
They would have used aluminum.
Yeah.
And then it's got 2 different bolts.
Right.
Are you sure it's not Lamborghini?
This is a custom bracket. You know, it's just right there.
It's an invisible bracket.
That's it. Look at this. You got some nice hammer marks here where they're like, hey, that doesn't fit. Bah, bah, bah.
Hey Jack, do you like my my special extension? It has a grip on this end.
I like the knob on the end.
Next up in the removal process was the engine's dry sump oil tank, which is used to keep a constant supply of oil feeding the engine regardless of how hard the car is cornering. It's real race car tech, and because of that, it means that there are a fair few oil lines and brackets to undo. With the oil level sensor disconnected, we removed the very oily oil tank from the car, after which we had to remove even more very oily hoses. And while all of us were getting busy hammering down on the rest of the engine bay, we found evidence of another kind of hammering.
Take a look at this. Somebody went pretty crazy with a hammer right here. Hopefully I can get a new one of these. I need a new, like, everything here. Engine and frame and... All right, this car is gonna need a lot of work and a lot of very expensive parts. But one thing I'm really excited to share with you is that I am starting my first ever show. It's called Wrenchworks. Go to wrenchworks.com to get your tickets right now. It's gonna have me, a bunch of other automotive influencers. It's gonna have live builds, it's gonna have track work. It's gonna have people just loving cars. It's gonna be 3 days, December 6th through 8th in Auburndale, Florida, at a place called Circuit, Florida. And I'm super, super, super excited. Now, tickets are selling out fast, so go get your tickets right now.
That's super loose.
Yeah.
I started to put effort and it just went whoop, right off. The fact that you're holding it though, with your thumb and your index finger, and it's just staying still, that's freaking awesome right there.
So are they nylock?
They're supposed to lock, yes. So these have been reused. So when you reuse these, that's why these are one-time use. Sometimes the bolts are stretch bolts, but I don't believe these ones are stretch bolts, but the nuts are definitely one-time use. Audi recommends, like, every time you do any kind of suspension work, you replace them. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just saying, but...
My nuts don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Or are we talking about something else?
Yeah.
The Aventador suspension is another example of insanely cool race car tech. It's called pushrod technology, in which the coilover shocks are mounted inside the chassis, which lowers the center of gravity in the car and makes it handle better. And I would have given you a full demonstration of how it works if I hadn't have been so distracted by my toolbox.
Give up.
With the pushrod suspension finally out of the car, I turned my attention to the bolts holding the engine to the car.
This is the rear engine mount. Don't know what it's going to do. Maybe it'll move or shift the engine somewhere, but probably not. But this is one of 4 engine mounts. So we are getting real close to taking this engine out. And when I say real close, we're not very close at all. We still have a lot of work to do.
Like 3 more days, guys. Like 3 more days.
3 more days.
As I tagged and bagged every stock-looking bolt I could find, the engine was looking more and more bare and ready to leave its home. And that made me extremely happy.
There we go. Oh, look at that. Look how much is shifted.
Nice. It's only a hair off.
Yeah. But look, if I wanted to put it in the right spot, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
that's a lot of pressure.
It's only like, you know, an elephant hair off.
The suspension crossmember was the next part to come off, so we could give it a thorough inspection, and what we found was a huge shock to no one.
So now, I believe we could just take this right out. Look at that. These are sacrificial parts, so whenever you have an issue, you can tell that these just kind of break off. So this might have been from another car.
Oh no, look at this. Look right here. The weld's cracked.
Oh yeah, there we go. So that's no good.
She's
See that little crack? That's it. It's
Throw it away.
throw it away.
Once you do crack,
You can weld it back.
yeah, you can weld it back.
Even after taking the oil tank and draining several spots on the engine itself, there was still more oil in the lines. So after those came out, we could have a great look at the damaged frame, and the news went from bad to worse.
That is the destroyed subframe on the inside that you can't see, and that is really bad. It's missing a section of like the little waffle kind of like inside part here, and then the part that comes up to the top is cracked all around the edge. You can see all the way to there, all throughout there. The whole thing is cracked. It's literally holding on only by the welds on the outside.
And that's cast aluminum
Yeah.
part, right?
Yeah, so you can't weld on cast aluminum, and that's the reason why when we get aluminum cars, we can't pull them because cast aluminum will crack like that, you know?
Well, okay,
couldn't
so what
pull
was it?
this
So,
car to begin with.
so when you say you can't weld on cast aluminum, the original cast aluminum was welded onto.
Yeah.
But it's just when you repair it, you can't weld it. Because people in the comments are going to be like, well, how do you get it on the thing? Like, it's after it gets crashed. Cast aluminum can't be welded, and then
You don't want to weld it back together.
No.
You can weld it, like if there was a sectionable joint like on this that you could cut off and put a new piece on. But this, once that's cracked, that's it. This thing's toast.
Are you sure? Those guys just welded it back together.
I got some bubble gum in my toolbox. We can just put it right back together.
You know what we should do? We should cut this and then make it so it matches this side.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right,
So then we won't have any problems at all.
And with the worst finally out of the way, we got wrenching. Jack got to use his third favorite tool on a bracket that wasn't cooperating, which was followed by his use of his second favorite tool. I removed an engine mount that wasn't even finger tight, and then turned my attention to the main engine mounts, which were Then came the transmission mount and chassis ground. I then found several more engine oil drain plugs and loosened them up just to see what came out. Jack then marked the drive shaft, or prop shaft if you're used to working on planes. Then we took the whole thing out of the car, and at the same time got some good cardio in. The only holdouts now were the rear axles, which were easy to take out as long as you had 3 sets of hands that didn't mind getting their fingers squished. At this point, we had been at it for hours, and things were getting a bit loopy.
Like I'm already seeing there is a tool missing. Already gone through this morning.
This one? The one that I'm using?
Yeah.
Huh?
Are you gonna put it back?
You know what? Okay.
You can have it.
Look, why are you putting wrenches over here? Wrenches go here.
Don't tell me where to put my wrenches, okay?
Sockets go here.
If I want to put my tool over here,
I don't even know what this is.
It's getting corporate over here.
I think we had too much coffee this morning. I don't know. Ow. 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 Ow.
Why aren't you using the zippy gun? Makes things faster.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in the. Well, I mean, it fits here, but then it doesn't fit right here, and it doesn't allow me to drop all my hardware. So, you know.
Who's your favorite boy band, Rex?
Old Town.
O-Town?
Yeah.
Name what?
O-Town song.
Yeah, exactly.
Liquid.
That's the band, not the song.
That was the song. Yeah.
Oh, they
Liquid,
did?
right?
There's a song called "Liquid" by O-Town.
Pretty sure.
Go Google
Liquid, isn't it Liquid Dreams?
Yeah, Liquid Dreams.
Liquid Dreams?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wet Dreams.
Yes.
There was a song
Wait.
called
They're a boy
Liquid
band.
Dreams.
Wait, Google that,
they're a
dude.
boy
Google
band.
that.
This is how.
This is what Lou Pearlman did to these poor young men.
Oh, he's getting political again.
Poor young men. Lou Pearlman. He's a devil. He
Well,
took
he's
me
dead
for a
now.
ride on his blimp, okay? And he promised me all these things. I was going to be in a boy band. It didn't happen. Justin and I could have been best friends.
That's
could've
late.
been
He's
best
he's
friends.
still alive, so it's
He
not
is
too
still
late.
alive. We could still be best friends, Justin.
Well, we do have Joey Fatone behind the camera, so.
And after we got that out of our system, I removed the top control arm so the axle would have some wiggle room. We then grabbed the AC machine to suck all the refrigerant out of the system, but surprise, surprise, the entire system was empty. We then found out why.
So Jack figured something out. So this, we didn't take this out. This is the AC line, which is supposed to be flush with the AC compressor. And take a look at that. So I think that's probably why there's no AC in this car.
With the AC line removed and firmly in the not my problem section of the build, I removed the airbox, then went to work removing the passenger side fuse box, which the entire wiring loom ran through. We then went to town taking every bolt off that we thought could be attached to the engine and immediately forgot where they went. Because I'm not sure if you've realized this yet, but a Lamborghini Aventador is a complicated car.
Audi apparently has reared its ugly head because we have so many connections and hoses and wires and cables that we're just disconnecting everything that could look like it is connected to the engine. Right now there's this little fuse box junction panel here for power, and that's connected to the fuse box, which I already took out. So that's going to ride with the engine. And as soon as we take this out, then we have to do fuel lines, and then I believe, do we have other stuff connected over there? I think there's 2 lines down here for like oil cooler.
So we found a hook right here now where we can strap something over the top of this. That's going to be a little complicated because we got the throttle bodies here in the way.
I think if we do maybe a chain or just a like a ratchet strap, and then we strap to that.
I thought you didn't like ratchet straps though.
I don't, but that's all we got, so I like them.
We were getting so close to pulling the engine, but in order to make sure we didn't damage anything else on this nearly $500,000 car, we triple-checked every line, hose, and connection we could before immediately running into our next speed bump.
We have reached a point where this may be a slight problem. So this is the drain plug for the differential, and it is completely stripped out. We've just machined this. So instead of worrying about this, that's going to be a tomorrow problem. I'm just going to take off the line that goes right here, this for the diff cooler. And if I take this off, and we should be able to drain the diff. Okay, man. Oh.
Not much in there.
Yeah, that's not a lot. Huh.
With 2 teaspoons of differential fluid drained from the rear end, I found some coolant lines that needed to be cleft in twain. I then disconnected the car's supercapacitor, which runs the start-stop system instead of the battery. We then connected the load leveler to the engine hoist so we could angle the engine exactly how much we needed. And then it was time to take the engine out of the car, which is what I would say if we didn't immediately have a problem and have to phone a friend.
What's up, Skeezer?
What's up, dude? So we have this Aventador. The engine is almost out, but it seems like it's stuck on something right in the middle of the car. Is there any like secret mount that we have to get to from the inside or anything like that?
No, there's nothing like that. You have a couple of cooler hoses on the driver's side
Okay.
for the trans cooler. Make sure you disconnect those. Well, there's 2 of them. There's one above high, just under the header.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the small one, or then there's another one that's down all the way at the bottom that you're looking at pretty much right by the engine mount. Go to the firewall on the passenger side, look straight down at the front of the header, and you should see a hose there.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll take a look.
Later, bro.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Bye. So that was Mark from AGX, Avantgarde Exotics. He's done this a lot, so he told me to go over here and take a look at this. And, oh hey, there's a hose right there where he said it would be. There's a hose right there, but it is disconnected a little further back, yeah. So that's disconnected, so that should be okay. So let's put jack stands under the arms, and then I can go underneath the car. And then if you hear me screaming, I don't know, just like call it a day.
Now I should get this out of the way. Do not try this at home. Even though we have the entire car secured with a lift and jack stands, there's a lot that can happen very quickly when weight is moving around. But at this point, I was out of options because, as far as I can tell, there wasn't anything left connected on the Aventador's drivetrain. I used a hydraulic jack with a piece of wood underneath the car to get the weight off the engine mounts, and Jack and Rex made sure I wasn't bending or snapping anything too expensive. And with Jack up top and me pushing from below, we seesawed this engine for nearly 2 hours until we finally got some great news.
All right, okay.
All right, we good?
Yeah.
I like.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
One. Yes! You guys don't know! I'm late for my dinner, my wife is gonna kill me!
Go ahead.
Go ahead! Go ahead!
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's massive.
Woo!
Yes! Yes!
Yeah! Hell yeah!
For staying!
Tommy. Yeah!
Go, man! Let's go, man!
There's so much room for activities. Check it out. All right, so
Wow.
this is the bare shell of a Lamborghini Aventador S. Really, really cool. Honestly, other than some, you know, little fiddly bits, we got it out in like a day and a half.
That wasn't bad, dude.
It wasn't too bad, especially for a Lamborghini V12, a modern Lamborghini V12. Not really too bad. So now the question remains: what do I do with that engine? A few things. Are you okay?
Yeah, put my shoes on.
Okay. So now the question remains: what do I do with that engine? It has to get torn apart, and then the cylinder head has to get gone through. We have to rebuild the cylinder heads, and I'm gonna do both of them just because I don't know what's in the other one. We know that we have damage in one of the cylinder heads, so it's good to just do both cylinder heads. It's 48 valves, probably gonna be very, very expensive. And another thing that I need to do is I need to source an actual frame, because the more I look at this, yes, it's sort of possible to fix. I mean, you can see
Look
the
at the heat shield where it's all cobbled together.
Oh,
Yeah.
right there.
top.
Whoa.
look at that. So this is not good. You definitely don't want that. This is just hodgepodge mess. And you can see right here, this is like all bent, and this should not be like this. So I need to get a actual new frame, or at least an undamaged frame. And I don't know of any, but one of my friends, Sam Hard, said he might have been able to source me one, but the catch is I have to go to the UK. So I guess there's only one thing to do. Welcome everyone. I am in the UK in a really interesting place. It's a place called DME Tuning, and these guys told me that they have something that I need. Let's go check it out. First off, take a look at what they have in the front drive here. They have an Audi R8, they have a BMW M5, and this is actually a world record car for trap speed or something like that in half-mile events. This is a super, super fast car. Then we have the Ferrari F8, and I mean, I can't afford this, but I also can't afford any of that. Now here are the guys. Got Jay and Zahib.
Yep.
There we go. So these guys invited me out, and they said, hey, take a look at my garage here, because we have a lot of cool stuff, and then we have something that you'll need over here. And this is an Aventador frame, and it's not just any Aventador, it's an Aventador Roadster. It's like a 15 or a 16, and if you guys notice, there isn't any damage on it. I mean, it's a little, I mean, it's used, but it is in great shape, and this is exactly what I need. So what kind of work do you guys do here?
So we modify, we tune engine builds and basic race preparations.
So race prep, I mean, DME tuning, you guys know, like,
some people will know in the audience, like DME is a company in the States, but you guys are the UK like franchise of that.
So custom tuning, live tuning, yeah, race preparations.
So you have some pretty fast cars around here, right?
Yeah, behind you, I don't know if you've noticed, Tavarish, the half-mile world record on that green BMW M5.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody about that, yeah.
So she runs, on the event day, it was 1160-ish. We had to take some power out just for traction issues. And she tracked, what speed, Jake?
199 after standing off the line.
And the rolling was
40 miles per hour was 197.
So that M5 out there does 199 miles an hour in a half mile.
Yes.
And it has 1160 horsepower.
Yeah. Forged engine, forged transmission, and full frame tail.
That seems excessive.
Yeah.
Well, you guys also have some stuff like this. This is near and dear to my heart because, I mean, this is the UK, and you guys got a Hellcat over here.
Yeah,
and
she runs about 1,000 horsepower.
Okay.
Yeah, she's been on a dyno jet,
986 horsepower and 1,200 Newton meters of torque.
I don't know what a Newton meter is, but this puts out a lot of them. These things, they are launch monsters. Now, I have a Hellcat Red Eye, and it's great, but these are all-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive just makes for the best launches. Unfortunately, these also make for some transmission explodey bits.
Yeah, so she's just had a pure drivetrain transmission, and hopefully, in the coming months, we should be able to see it at Santa Pod or some race events, put down some times.
Cool.
And then go forward from there.
Awesome, awesome. So how did you guys get this? Because I've been looking for this all over the world. Everybody that has one, it's always damaged. It's either fire damage or it's been hit in the same way mine has been hit. And like, this is, for all intents and purposes, pristine. How'd you guys get a really good frame?
So that is the car that lies behind the story of the frame.
Okay, so that Aventador right there.
Yeah, so we bought that as a project, a rolling shell. She came off a trailer here, rolled into the unit. Engine was smashed to bits.
Yeah.
So when we went out sourcing an engine, we stumbled across an engine sat inside a subframe.
So the engine was in here.
Yeah. So
that's so cool.
And subframe.
That's dope. All right, so maybe
I've not listed this anywhere. A lot of friends have been telling me get the subframe listed on the internet. But we had a friend come up this week, and he said, "I know just the man who needs this." And he go all the way from America just to see it.
That's awesome. So okay, I'll take it 100%. I'll take it. Just bag it up for me, and you know I'll put it on my carry-on. Yeah, let's put it in the rental. Yeah, let's do it. Dude, thank you so much.
No, of course, man. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.
If there's anywhere else we can help you, I don't mind packing a bag, flying over to the States, and getting on the keyboard.
Let's do it, because I think, you know, my car will need some tuning, and I have some other projects that you guys might find interesting.
Awesome.
But definitely check out DME Tuning. Everything will be in the link in the video description below. These guys do amazing work. They do, I mean, they've been showing me around for the past few minutes, and I've seen engine builds, I've seen lots of electronics, I've seen, like, look at this thing. I didn't even talk about that. So they have like Japanese, they have exotics, they have the Euro stuff, they have half mile, they got whatever this is. Look how cool that is. So they got everything. Go check them out. Really, really good dudes.
Could we not send that out to the States?
You want to send this out?
The Subaru?
Do you want to put this in the same container?
Yeah, could do.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll buy that too.